shall not pass. Right guys, so here we are. It's another day of mobility. And in fact, it's your last day of mobility. So, as always, you're gonna need yourself, because that's the most important thing, floor sprays. Try and get that soft floor again. You want a carpet, a mat, something that you can put your knee on, because you're putting a bit of weight through that knee. And you will need a stick of some sort, whether it be a brush, whether it be, you can actually use a wall. So if the illusions work out, I can use a wall like this and put it against the wall and have that support. Or you could use a kid, if you have a kid, make them stand still, put your hand on top for the whole session. You could do that too. It all works as long as they stay still. So we're gonna start on our bum, or well, not on our bum, in a half kneeling position. So get in that position now, and we are gonna start in 15 seconds. We're gonna look at the ankle to start. So I'm gonna put this stick to the side, keep it out of the way for now. I'm gonna drop down to a half kneeling position. I'm gonna get my two hands, put it on top of that front knee, and trying to push forward with my hips. Keep them in a straight line. They're going straight across. That knee goes forward over that toe, but you want to keep this heel down on that front toe. Go as far as you can. You might even get to the point where you get your calf against your hamstring here. And then we're going to push back off through that foot and bring your hips back to that neutral posture. So we're actually lengthening the time of each interval today to 1:30, and then we have 10 seconds to swap into the next movement. But we're going to work our way up the body, starting with the ankles, then we're going to hit our knee, then we're going to hit our hips, our spine, and our shoulders. So you're getting a good workout, but it's only one round. So you don't have to come through all these again. Once you get through it once, you're done. You don't have to go again. But it just means that we got a lot of time to get really high quality reps in. After all, they are the most important. So pushing that knee as far as you can forward, putting all your weight through this front leg and back through again. So what we're trying to do is we're testing the ankle in this position. So you might think it's a bit of the Achilles, and I'm actually getting a foot cramp as I do this one with the back foot. It's not cooperating at all. I'm just lifting that back leg up. You're going to keep that back leg down. I just need to keep it up just to stop it cramping, and then pull it back. We're only going to hold for 5-6 seconds when you push it forward. You will feel this in the hip flex of that front leg because you're squashing it and you're making it flex the hip a bit. So 3, 2, 1, swap it over. Hopefully this cramp sorts itself out. So you're setting up that knee directly above that ankle and this knee directly underneath that hip. Two hands on that front knee, and you're just loading up that front knee, trying to push it forward. Your hips are going across in a horizontal fashion, but they're coming down on a slight decline. And then you're going to push back through that foot to get yourself back to that neutral stance. But we're flexing at the angle here. We're actually dorsiflexing to be precise. Don't worry, you won't have to know that word. It's just, we got dorsiflexion, we got plantar flexion. Dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Plantar flexion is pretty much just planting that toe into the ground. Dorsiflexion, that toe comes up to you. There you go. Every day is a school day. So slowly pushing that knee forward. We're really testing the ankle. Now I've restricted range of motion on my right ankle compared to my left due to previous surgeries. So that's going to restrict the movement a little bit. So if you guys are the same with any body part that you do, chances are you're not going to have the same mobility. And chances are you'll never get that back if you have hardware in there. So that will restrict it. That's restricting me a good bit. A little bit of a pull on the inside, but you're only going holding it as far as you can within a level where there's no pain, a level of comfort. Keep that heel down, don't let it come up. And we're going to sit on our bum in 14 seconds. It's got to be nice and quick because we're going into a knee cars, controlled articular rotations. It's an unusual position, but we've got 1:30 to talk you through it. So 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can use a wall as support to lean back. So I'm going to take my right hand. I'm going to keep my left leg straight, right leg bent. I'm going to get my right hand, go underneath my leg. So I'm grabbing the hamstring, grabbing my left bicep. My left hand grabs the top of that knee. Now I'm leaning back. I'm picking that leg up, I'm leaning back. So you can use a wall to support it. But what I want to do is dorsiflex that foot. So we're pointing that toe up towards us. And we're going to push it out to the side, external rotation. Now we're going to look at our tibia, which is our shin, all right? So if you actually put your finger there, we're going to look to rotate that. So this is knee cars. So focus on the knee. what we're going to do is point that toe down, internally rotate it, and then pick it back up through internal rotation. Then you're going to reverse it down through internal rotation into external. So pointing that toe out and pick it back up. Now if you can get this hand free, put it on this tibia, this shin bone here. You're actually going to feel it move. And the more control we have through this, the better we'll move. Same with every joint that we go through. Now, you can really get into the nitty-gritty stuff, and it's quite tedious at times. But all you're looking to do is control this through internal and external rotation while plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. So you're going up and down. You're feeling that tibia move. The reason we hug this knee is just to keep the humerus, that knee kind of still. We don't want that rotating and compensating. We're blocking it effectively. So 2, 1, swap it over. Now you can go any direction you like, whether it's point that toe out, coming up, pointing it in, then going down, or you can go reverse. Instead of a U shape, you go an N shape. It's all complicated stuff, but we're just trying to dumb it down. So left hand underneath that left leg onto my right bicep, right hand on the top of that leg. What you can actually do is grip it underneath the two legs, the two hands underneath the hamstring, but I like to grab the bicep, more secure. Top of the leg, I'm going to point that toe out, I'm going to pick it up, I'm going to come across, I'm going to point down into my other leg, then I'm going to pick it back up, externally rotate out, and down. Now it mightn't look like you're doing much, but if you actually put your hand on that tibia, now you mightn't feel, because it's the first time we're doing it, we mightn't actually feel it move. Might look like it's moving, but the more you do it, the more you're going to gain control. So really slow it down. You still got 45 seconds to get through it. So you have a lot of time. But we're just trying to bring in new stuff and give you as much knowledge as we can, I suppose. So you guys get a bit of an education as well. So we're looking to move that tibia. It's like a blade front here. Trying to get that to move, rotate. And that was actually our knee cars. So 20 seconds to go. Then we're going to stand up. This is where you bring your stick in, your wall in, or your small child, whichever works. Pick that toe up, rotate it out, and down again. Now it can get quite difficult to point that toe and get that rotation in too. So take your time. So 2, 1. All right, let's stand up. That's us done with that. We're going to move up to our hips. Grab your stick. I'm going to put my stick in the left hand. I'm going to use my right leg. So, leg close to the stick does not move. That's our plant leg. That's going to stay in a straight line with our ankle, knee, hip, shoulder. We're stacking those joints. They never move. So once we're here, squeeze our abs. Big breath in. About 30%, 50%. Keep it tight. If we go 100%, we're not going to be able to move. I'm going to get you to pick that knee up. We're going to come across that foot. Knee comes across the body in front of the left hip. This is where we have to be careful. We don't rotate both hips. We got to keep the hips square all times. The knee comes up. It's going to do a big arc around in front. It's going to come center then in front of that hip again. That knee is out to the side. Get the external rotation. Once you get right to the side, put your finger on the top of that knee. Put the foot in behind. Let go of the finger. And in we go behind. Extend through the hip. And back to the two knees together. Now to the back door. Up around the side, external rotation into adduction here. Now we're into flexion through the front of the hip, across the body. And let's bring it back down. Let's pick it back up. It's like a big circle you're going around. Cross the knee in front of the opposite hip, or the other side of the, or other hip should I say. Now in front of the same hip, out to the side, that external rotation. Now we're getting that internal rotation through extension, two knees together. Don't let any other body part compensate where we rotate through the hips, we arch our back or around our back. It's nice and smooth through and down. Now it's supposed to be done nice and slow, and you're only going to get 2 to 3 reps in. Same here, keep the abs tight. Pick that knee up, we're going to swing that foot in. Then the knee does that big circle around to the stick, across the body, into internal rotation here, but then we're going to start swapping it to that external rotation through the flexion position, out to the side. Try not move the body, don't rotate the hips. You're squeezing the glute and squeezing the quad of this standing leg. Flip that foot in behind, don't let the knee drop at all. And then back out through the back door, that extending through the hip. Then an external rotation in front, across the body and down. Now it is quite tiring. You're gonna feel that glue to that standing leg too. So pick it up, drop the foot in, knee up and across. It's very easy to rotate the hips through this to make it easier, but we're trying to keep it right in the hip. Finger on top of the knee just to make that knee stay at that point. So if that knee drops, it makes it easier. We gotta keep that knee nice and high, foot in behind. Just as soon as you initiate that movement with the foot, you can take your finger off. It just tells your brain and that knee that it's gotta stay there. Makes it a little bit easier. The knee comes up and across and around and down. So we get another 15 seconds in here. Nice and slow. Really getting to the end of that range of motion, scraping that joint. And it's gonna be sore. So 3, 2, and 1. That hip just dropped. It lost all power there. Right, so we're gonna go into our cat camel. So throw that stick to the side. Our trusty cat camel is looking at that spinal flexion and extension. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Big breath in, let's round that back. And on the exhale, nice and slowly, trying to bring that belly button to the floor, chest up, hips up to the sky, and then big breath in again, around it as much as you can. Now, if you do find this easy, which some people will find it easy, and you do have that spinal control, which is great, we're gonna advance a little bit. So we can all try it, we've got plenty of time to try it and regress it if we need to. So what we wanna do is extend the arms, keep them locked out, get your upper back to the sky, as if you're rounding your back, freeze there. I just want you to tilt your pelvis so your upper back stays there. We tilt our pelvis as if we're trying to arch it and round it. But in fact, we're keeping the upper back rounded. We're keeping the upper back flexed. But we're arching and rounding that lower back. So nice and slow. If you are finding this quite difficult and you feel like you're starting to drop to the upper back and it's not all coming together, regress it. Wait until you have full control over that spine before you progress it. But then again, you'll only know through failing. Sometimes failure is the best teacher. So 3, 2, 1. That's our spine. We got one more joint to go through, which is our shoulder. Same with our hip that we did. We're going through our cars. So you can put a half kneeling stance. My right knee stays down. Right arm, I'm going to externally rotate so that palm is facing out. Going to bring it up, keep the abs tight, bring it up and across towards that left shoulder. Up over our head, and it's going to start centering. That wrist is over that shoulder, and you're going to hit that wall right above the head. You may be able to extend through the shoulder a little bit behind. We got to rotate to get past that wall, right behind us. Bring it right back down to our pocket. Freeze there. Keep the tension in the body. Let's go out through the back door, over the top of the head, rotate it the other way because it hit that wall fairly quickly. And as you come down across the body, you're not rotating through the hips or the upper back. We're trying to fight for that more external rotation as it comes down. Freeze there at the hip. Let's go back in reverse again. So the more reps we can get through with this, the better, but it has to be done nice and slow. And the more you squeeze everything and keep the tension in the body, the harder it's going to be. Because think about it, if you squeeze at 100%, you're going to move so slowly, it's actually going to be near impossible to get that movement done. Because as you squeeze and contract the muscle, and especially at 100%, it's not going to want to move. But we got to be careful we don't arch that back, round to the back as it comes forward, or rotate to the upper spine. So 2, 1, relax there for 10 seconds, set up the other side, so left knee down, right leg out in front. We're going with the left arm. Yes, this stuff can be a little bit tedious at times, but it will have its benefits. So rotate that left hand out, palm facing forward. We're coming up and across the body as much as we can. Keep the abs tight. You can even make a fist to keep the tension in the arm. You're going to hit that wall fairly quickly. Over the head, rotate the other way, and then behind we go. Keep fighting for that rotation. The lower you get towards the ground, the more rotation you're going to get through that pattern that you're going through, whether it's external or internal rotation. The higher you go up, the more you're going to lose it. So keep fighting for either way. And your body's going to tell you, nope, can't go any more in this range. You got to swap up that rotation to get past this wall. And you got to listen to it at the same time. So you're trying to scrape it. So you may have heard me talk about the deep meat that we're getting at. We're getting right at the capsule, the joint in the capsule. We're trying to create that space, but it's nearly grinding against that joint. That's how close to end range of motion we're going. And we're still getting our extension, our flexion, internal and external rotation. So over the top. You're going at your own pace, but it has to be slow and controlled. Otherwise, it's useless. So over the top, bring it overhead, rotate, back down. Keep the abs tight, don't let the ribs lift up, and relax. So, bit of a change on today, a bit of a twist. Not literally, but in some way, maybe. But that's your mobility done and dusted. And that is your last day. And hopefully you guys have kind of got some educational work out of this. So it's not just be kind of led by the hand all the time. You can actually go into a gym or where you're at home and get this extra work done by yourself and understanding the principles and why we do stuff when we can do stuff. So good work, and we'll see you for the last day. Till then.